Hey guys, it's me, the FanFic Critic. I'm going to do a commentary on my first episode. I should have done this a while ago. I really should have. And trust me, I have a lot to say about this episode. First of all, how I come across. I mean, just look at me. I'm very sarcastic. I don't think that was a good idea to start off as a pilot, to be all sarcastic like this. That's one of the things that I dislike about this episode. To be completely honest with you guys, I hate this episode of FanFic Critic. I think it's my worst episode, to be honest with you. I really do. Which is kind of funny, because when I first made it, I thought it was my best episode, but now looking back, it's like, wow, this is crappy.
Don't watch this.
Jeez, I come across as a bitch.
Let's start with the
And what the hell is with that outfit?
Well done.
I have a collar
I'm back.
with another collar.
Yeah.
And that jacket looks way too
If I cannot
small.
fly you still in front
And
of
what the
me,
hell's
I'm
with
gonna
the
break this writing
angle
smart
there? I'm
bird.
not even
Especially
centered. I'm like
people around.
leaned off to the side. Well, then again, this is like the first episode, so you can kind of forgive me seeing this is like a first run, but still. And just how I'm reading, it's kind of funny too, because I kind of come across as out of breath.
So if
I think I
tell
was
you
trying to
that
read
the
it too
story's
quickly.
a piece of shit
I don't
that
know.
deserves to
And
be
right here, I
published
shouldn't have
in
done this. Pretty much right here, I'm implying that I'm going to hate this fanfic immediately, so I'm coming across as really biased and stuff. It's like, yeah, you know I'm going to hate this fanfic before I even start reading it to you guys.
This story
Oh
is
boy.
for treatment of
But this
women
was
with
filmed,
lovely
oh god,
According to Bonham Carter.
it was filmed a while ago. And what the hell is with that random voice? Do we even know who that voice is supposed to be? Is it supposed to be me? Is it supposed to be the prototype of Susan? It's not supposed to be Susan. It's just supposed to be some random voice that corrects me. I think I originally had it that the voice interrupts a few times to correct me because I say her name wrong a few times and it keeps on saying it's Helena and I'm like, shut up, but I ended up not going with that, which is probably good.
Oh my god, how much longer is this?
I shouldn't have even bothered reading the author's note, to be honest with you. I still kind of read the author's notes,
Get
but
to the story, shall we?
yeah.
I write enough the author's note anyway.
okay, that was an interesting sound in the mic. Now, here's the thing about this story. I still don't like it, but I think I was kind of unfair in this review because I did kind of come across as biased. I mean, the story, it was very well written. And the fact that I said at the time when I did this review that this was the worst fanfic I ever read, wow, I was so wrong because, you know, compared to future fanfics I read, this one was actually quite tame. It was still over the top violent, though. I mean, it really was, and that's one of the things that was bad about this story. It made Sweeney Todd like very out of character, and he was a jerk in this story. He really was. And when you watch the movies, he wasn't really a jerk. He just seemed kind of distant and stuff. But he was never this mean. Especially towards Mrs. Lovett. I mean, he was kind of, like, neutral around her, but I think he somewhat cared for her. I mean, no, he obviously didn't love her, but he didn't hate her either. But in this fanfic, it came across that he hated her guts. Yeah. Jeez, I think I filmed this review like several times before I finally did this final shot. When I did the first filming, it was supposed to be a joke. I was so mad when I read this fanfic, I decided to do a video about it, like I was ranting, and I decided to call myself the FanFic Critic just for fun, and I decided to try to make something of it. So I filmed the review several times and stuff, and I even filmed a couple of other test episodes of FanFic Critic. The desk wasn't even in this location. It was actually on the opposite wall, and I didn't even have the outfit yet, but I decided to... At first, I kind of canned the idea, but then I decided to go for it again, and thus, this is how this came about. It's quite an interesting process. When I filmed episodes 1 through 7 roughly around the same time frame, in a sense. I didn't air any episodes for a while. I think this was actually filmed sometime in like January of... well, maybe not January. I don't know. It was filmed sometime in like early 2009. I started to air episodes on MySpace around May of 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't start airing any episodes of FanFic Critic on YouTube until January of 2010. So it was roughly about a year before a year after this episode was filmed. Well, maybe not a year, but a good chunk of time before I finally started airing on YouTube. Yeah, I was very hesitant. I wasn't sure that people were going to like this show, so that's why I was so hesitant and stuff. It took a lot of encouraging from Morgan and my friend Kaylara to air this. But watching this episode again, it's like I'm so glad I improved. Or at least I think I improved. And you guys, I think you guys think I've improved. Every now and then I get a negative comment on this episode, but oh well. I don't mind the negative. Well, I kind of mind the negative comments, but not because of them being negative. The reason why they kind of bother me is because the people who leave these comments, they don't seem to bother watching the more recent videos I did. They just seem to watch this one video and then they like rant about it and then don't even say anything else. And I'm like, okay, I understand your opinion, but how about you watch more recent stuff and then judge? I mean, hello, it says in the video description that this is like over a year old, but oh well. I'm not going to let it get to me. People are going to be entitled to their opinions, so yeah. Yeah, why the hell am I at this camera angle? I think I got a lot better about how I was reading these fanfics. I try to be more centered in the screen. I think I even have the camera tilted up in a weird sense, too. And I'm like leaning here, and it kind of sounds like I'm doing a bit of voice acting a little, too. Not completely, but I think the first couple times I read this fanfic, I was trying to sound like the characters. It's a good thing I didn't go for that, because that would have been awful. It really would have been.
Okay, if she's supposed to be glaring at him, why would her eyes be burning in her skull?
I think I was purposely being way too nitpicky for this.
Like I'm doing now?
Okay.
See, my eyes aren't burning.
That's not a glare. That's just you squinting at the camera. That's not glaring. I think I got better at my glares, too. See, I kind of slipped into the accent there as well. Yeah, this is one of my stupid moments. I know what incredulous means now, but at the time I didn't. That was just me being, oh, this is a big word, so I'm going to make fun of it. That ended up biting me in the ass later. I know what it means now, though. Don't worry. Jeez. Some people have told me, hey, if maybe you should take down the old episodes and just revamp them if you hate them so much. But you want to know something? That would be kind of pointless. I mean, why? I mean, you might as well keep up the old videos. I mean, if you were to take down all the old videos and refilm them, that would just be kind of pointless. And besides, if you keep up the old videos, it can show how much you've improved over the episodes. I think I've improved. There's some things I still need to work on, but I think FanFic Critic has come a long way since this particular episode, I have to say. In this part right here, I was being way too nitpicky. Oh, it took her that long to get drunk. Well, if you think about it this way, if you have several shots of whiskey and stuff, you could get pretty hammered in a short amount of time. Jesus, story was... Ugh. I still don't like this story, but... It was well written, I have to admit. BB Lovett, or more appropriately, Novocaine Child, was really good with the details. And you know, I have read her other stories, and there's this one story she was writing. She hasn't updated it at all, but it was really, really good. I forgot the name of it, but it was a Sweeney Todd fanfic, and it was really, really good. And I kind of wish she would continue writing it, but I don't think she's really been writing any fanfics lately, to be honest with you.
Silly little nit. Bad idea.
This is where the story, though, started to get a little inconsistent, because my argument here still stands. The whole reason why Sweeney started to beat the crap out of Mrs. Lovett, it wasn't... What the hell? What the heck did I do there? Did I did something in Windows Movie Maker. Yeah. it was supposed to symbolize lightning, and I think that was the last time I did an effect like that. I have to admit, that was kind of out of nowhere. Okay, what was I talking about before? Oh, yes. Here's the reason why Sweeney really flipped out at Mrs. Lovett. He didn't flip out because she was making fun of Lucy. This is why he flipped out. Listen right here.
I'm jealous of her, whispered Mrs. Lovett mournfully, wiping a smear of blood from her lip where she had bitten in the fall. I love you, Mr. Todd. He rounded on her.
Yes. That's why he got angry and started to torture her. It wasn't because she made fun of Lucy, it was because she admitted her love to him. And that was really inconsistent. I mean, that shouldn't have been... If it was supposed to be a deal that he was flipping out because of the things she said about Lucy, that's what it should have been. It shouldn't have been him flipping out because she admitted that she loved him. That was just stupid. And I even pointed out here, too. I mean, the story had some flaws. I mean, the characters were out of character. Toby's character was just mentioned and then disappeared after a while. Sweeney, after a while, just began torturing her for the hell of it, and it was just dumb, and Mrs. Lovett was acting completely out of character. I mean, she was coming across as weak and timid in this, and watching Sweeney Todd, she came across as a very tough and strong woman. That's how she came across to me. But I don't know. Yeah, I kinda...
What color?
The first unflattering close-up of the FanFic Critic. Trust me, people, if you're new to viewing the show, get used to it. I do a lot of those. Although with the new camera, I don't do it as much, but that's mainly because it's not the laptop anymore. It's an actual little camcorder. It's actually really nice. Flip is a good camera. It has some issues, though. Like it's supposed to have like 2 hours worth of memory, but mine says it has like 254. Like 154, like an hour and 54 minutes. I think it's like some weird glitch with the program, but oh well. That was another thing too. He only seemed to love Lucy because of her yellow hair. And if you think about it realistically, even if Lucy had lived and hadn't gone insane, I don't think she would have felt the same towards Sweeney Todd as she did with Benjamin Barker. I mean, think about it. He became completely different. I was under the implication that Benjamin Barker was like a very kind and gentle person who wouldn't harm a fly, and so he gets sent off to prison for 15 years, and he comes back as this dark man who wants to kill Judge Turpin for what he did. I don't think she would have loved him. And there's actually some good fanfics out there that kind of depict this. Like, there's this one fanfic that I was reading where Sweeney Todd comes back and, like, Lucy wants him to become Benjamin Barker again, but everyone else around her knows that that's not possible because, you know, he changed so much. There's no way he could recover from what happened to him in prison, and like she just wants Benjamin Barker back, and you know, that's how I pictured Lucy acting. But I don't know, I mean, you can't rewrite the Sweeney Todd movie. We all know how it ends and stuff. And this is where the story starts to get pretty damn violent. This is another stupid moment. Smart is another word for stinging. I think I actually did know this when I did this review, but I was just being nitpicky, and I'm like, oh, well, why didn't you just use sting? Because I think people in Britain actually use, like, smart and stuff, but it was silly.
Wrong answer. Bitch, what's wrong with you? Seriously.
Why did I say seriously there?
Pulling her to her feet again by her sore wrist.
Huh.
Deeply pained and fright as he pulled
You know,
her
it's kind of
around
funny.
his face. Wait a minute.
When you're watching this review, you're focusing more on the Harry Potter post than you are on me. I mean, not right here, obviously, but when I'm reading the fanfic, I'm leaned off to the side so much that you can actually see the Sweeney Todd poster and all my pictures that I have in the background. As you can clearly see, I don't have those pictures hanging up anymore. As much as I miss the Harry Potter poster, I think I'll keep my room clean of posters, thank you very much. I like how my room looks right now in the new location. This is location number 1, which I only stuck with this location for episodes 1 through 15. Which I have to admit, I think season 1 took the longest to film compared to the other seasons, because I had a lot of time gaps. But that was because, you know, between episodes 7 and 8, I had a huge time gap, because at that point I thought that people weren't going to like the show, so I didn't film for a while, and I got inspired to start it up again, and that's why I look drastically different between episodes 7 and 8. Okay, let's get back to this episode. This is where Sweeney starts to severely torture Mrs. Lovett. And this did not come across as Sweeney Todd. This was really starting to come across as like Saw or something. It was just... maybe not even Saw. It was just like random torture. And it was over the top. And I just can't picture Sweeney Todd doing this. Especially Tim Burton's version of Sweeney Todd. I mean... Sweeney didn't even talk that much in the movie, if you think about it. He's like yakking like a... I don't know, it was... This story still had a lot of flaws, but the same with this review. Again, I'm leaning off to the side. You focus more on the stupid Harry Potter poster. Which is kind of funny, because I think when that ED page about me still existed, they made mention of the Harry Potter poster like it was supposed to be significant, and when I'm reading that page, I'm thinking to myself, it's not significant, it's just a poster in the background. I didn't have anywhere else to film. It's my bedroom. Hello. Oh well. So this is the part where Sweeney's shoving his fingers up her crotch, and at the time I didn't think that was possible to fit that many up there, but according to some people that is possible. Yeah. Frankly, I don't see why you would spend your free time shoving your hand up there to see if anything fits or not, but okay, I guess some people do that. Maybe it feels good. I don't know. I would imagine that would be very painful either way. And this is nothing compared to what happens in Chibiusa's 7th birthday. If I was freaking out because of this. Geez, imagine if I had read Chibiusa's 7th birthday as my first fanfic. Yeah, the FanFic Critic would have been like one episode and one episode only, because the episode would have ended with me, yeah, running around like a maniac. Like, this makes no sense. Jesus Christ. It's hard to concentrate because I'm just off at an angle where you can see the stupid poster, and I can't... What was I thinking? Why the hell was I leaning like that? Jesus Christ. Move! Make yourself centered. Move to the center. Yeah, move to the center. Don't just... No, that's going in the opposite direction. What am I doing? It's not like she can hear me. Yeah. I'm glad I got better at this. And my god, the webcam quality looks awful. Compared to the new camera, which, when you see it on YouTube, the new camera isn't even at its potential because I have to convert the video before I can edit it in Windows Movie Maker. And even with Adobe Premiere, I still have to convert it, because if I don't convert it, the video takes forever to edit, because it's a huge file when it's as the MP4. Actually, my latest announcement video, where I'm showing you a bit of behind the scenes, that was just straight from the camera. That's why it showed up widescreen in HD. I think it's also because of the Adobe program. I have an older version of Adobe Premiere, so I don't know if it supports like HD files yet, so I think it has to dumb them down. But hey, it's a lot better than Windows Movie Maker. But Windows Movie Maker, I think I've done pretty good with that program considering how limited it is. Okay, we're 18 minutes in. I believe the fanfic itself is almost over, but I believe I go into a big rant. Oh yes, this part. This is the part where Sweeney starts to saw off Mrs. Lovett's boobs. Could you even actually saw something with a razor blade? Oh, maybe, I don't know. You can kind of tell I had to hold back for this. You see, when I lived at this old house here, well, not actually, the house I'm living in now is a lot older than the house I used to live in, but you know what I mean, my old location. I filmed when people were home, and I had to like severely hold back so I wouldn't have to worry about getting yelled at for being too loud. Fortunately, with where I live now, I don't have to worry about that too much. I mean, I live with my sister, obviously, but she doesn't really mind it. And most of the time when I film, she's not home anyway. I either film right after work, or I film on Wednesdays. Wednesdays tend to be my day off from work. Yeah. Anyway, I had to hold back a lot for this. And then there's this part. Huh. Interesting effect there. And this is where you see the razor. You know, this razor, it was only supposed to show up for this episode and this episode alone. It was only supposed to be a one-time cameo. Because it was a Sweeney Todd fanfic, so I thought it'd be great to have the razor around as like a cameo, but I decided to keep it, and it kind of played a big part in the show as the show goes on. Let's see, this razor, it ended up destroying the crappy author. It unfortunately killed Susan. And what other stuff is? Oh yes, it's been used a lot. You've seen this razor a lot. And I actually broke it when I was doing the whole mini-series thing involving Susan. In the final mini-series, when in Confessions where I'm holding the razor and then I like throw it down on the ground, I actually did throw it really hard. You don't see it in the shot, but I threw it down like wicked hard, and I ended up breaking it. I tried fixing it with crazy glue, and it's somewhat fixed, but it's still kind of floppy. Oh well. And this part right here. BB Lovett just said that she was a little mean to Mrs. Lovett, and this is my reaction to it.
A little mean, Mrs. Lovett? A little? I would not call this a little cruel.
I have to admit that reaction was kind of funny. But then it kind of failed here, because right here I pretty much rehashed what happens in the story, and I shouldn't have done that. That was just dumb. I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have.
He then starts slamming Craig up against the mirror over and over and over again.
I mean, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, okay, we just saw you read the fanfic. You don't need to repeat what happened. It was just kind of repetitive, if you know what I mean. I mean, maybe if it was a deal that I didn't read the fanfic and I was just doing a summarized review, this would have made sense. But seeing I just read it to you guys and I'm, like, rehashing the entire thing, it was kind of silly. And right around here, this is where I made another F up. Wait, hold on. Oh, here it is.
Shoving them up her crotch, and let's do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would not fit.
Actually, it does, according to some people. Ugh. That's kind of funny, though. Oh yeah, FanFic Critic, that is possible, you sheltered weirdo. I'm sorry, people, but most people don't spend their free time shoving their hands up their wazoozes or their vaginas to see if they fit or not. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Maybe I am a sheltered weirdo. Oh well. You know, I wasn't about to test that. But, I don't know. People will be critical about stuff. Although I can't really blame them for being critical, because this episode was really dumb. And I'm glad I changed, because I came across as a bitch in this episode. So, you know, how about you start actually critiquing the fanfic instead of reading the author's note?
Well, baby, maybe you should see a psychiatrist.
And you know, that wasn't really necessary.
Please read and review. Much privilege to all of you.
Well, I kind of do read some of the author's notes in future fanfics, but
will be naked in your room the next time you go up there. What? PPS not really though. Well, no shit.
Yeah, that was a weird PPS.
Okay. Let me
I should have done something where I should have filmed like me going downstairs and then I open up the door and like it'll be me dressed up as Helena Bonham Carter like standing there and it's like, what are you doing here? Oh, you reviewed Mrs. Lovett's lesson, so I'm just here to say hello. Okay, you can leave now. Okay, bye. And then she just disappears, but I ended up not going for that. And that would have... Oh wait, she would have had to be naked. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that, no way. So this is where I go into the actual quote-unquote review, but...
Being burned alive probably hurt a lot, but it was probably quicker. And I mean, the judge, he was still alive even after he went flying down the chute.
I don't know. I mean, this rant part at the end was... I don't know. I mean... It was kind of mediocre. It wasn't really a review. It was just me coming up with excuses why this story was bad. Okay, let me do this again during this commentary. Let's re-review Mrs. Lovett's lesson. Okay. If you look at the story with its layout and its detail and the spelling and grammar, the story itself was actually really, really good. However, the story itself wasn't that great. One of the reasons why was mainly because of how the characters were out of character, especially Sweeney Todd and Mrs. Lovett. Sweeney, well, he talks too much for one thing. He comes across as more of the silent type in the movie. Secondly, he was coming across as way too cruel and violent. And finally, his hatred for Mrs. Lovett just did not exist in the movie. Maybe at the very end of the movie, but for a majority of the movie, he felt neutral towards her, and he possibly could have cared for her a little bit in the movie. Mrs. Lovett was out of character because, well, what I say here in the review itself, and also she just came across as very timid and weak acting, and that's not how she was in the movie. As for Toby, though, well, he didn't really show up at all. I mean, he was mentioned and then he was never heard of again, so that was kind of silly. The author shouldn't have had Toby in the story at all. It should have been a deal that Toby, like say that Toby was gone, like Toby had to go off somewhere. I don't know. I mean, if Toby was to be in the story, it would have made more sense if it was a deal that he was trying to stop what was happening to Mrs. Lovett, because in the movie he came across as very protective of her. And with Sweeney, the reason why Sweeney originally went down to Mrs. Lovett's parlor in the story was to tell her to shut up so Toby wouldn't wake up. So that's where it was kind of silly to have Toby in the story, because, I don't know, it was just silly. Yeah.
I read it, you listen.
So,
I need to get a drink.
My God, I can't believe I kept that in. I think I did that a couple times I did that a couple times in a couple other episodes too. Yeah, I now know to push the chair back before I get up. I shouldn't have kept that in. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this commentary. I really do appreciate it. I might do another commentary in the future. I'm not sure what episode it is. I just do these at random, and sorry if these commentaries suck. Yeah, really sorry. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next upload. Till then, TTFN.